Sportz Blitz Live is on the air. News, scores, predictions. Sportz Blitz Live with your host, Brett Pritchard, Luke Robinson, and Randy Lee. Call 800-782-0108. Auburn.
45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back.
Alabama.
38 pounds and 80 yards.
And the latest in high school sports.
Yes, he is. Touchdown.
It's Sportz Blitz Live now. Brought to you by S&S Discount Tire and JR's Sports Bar and Grill.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome you into this evening's show, Sportz Blitz Live on the air. We'll be with you until 9 o'clock. I am Andy Graham alongside Luke Robinson and Randy Lee, and we'll be talking about a lot of different things tonight. Got a great show planned for you. Keith Niebuhr, recruiting analyst for 24/7, will be with us at 8 o'clock to talk about the world of recruiting, talk about specifically the Auburn Tigers in their class, ranked 8th right now in the country. Still a lot of room for some improvement there. Only 20 commitments. I think they'll take anywhere from 20, 25, probably 26, somewhere in that neighborhood. So we'll look forward to talking with him. Auburn still in the market for an offensive coordinator. A lot of names have been thrown about. I think the latest hot name is the Oklahoma State offensive coordinator, Mike Urich, a guy that really came from obscurity. Well, he came from where all offensive great minds come from, Shippensburg University. In Division II. So,
the cradle of offensive football.
Absolutely. So, but he's been at Oklahoma State for about 4 years, and it was talked about today that he has interviewed at Auburn, so we'll see how that story plays out. Alabama Athletic Director Bill Battle has stepped aside or basically retired. It was a 4-year gig, I guess, when he came in to take over for Mal Moore. That his contract is up, so he is stepping aside. He's like, what, 75, 77 now, something like that?
Yeah, he's on up there, and he's got all the money he could possibly want. Not from Alabama necessarily. He through licensing, he made over hundreds of millions of dollars, so he's in good shape. He doesn't have to necessarily have a job.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not a bad living. But Alabama named, or at least, I don't know if it's official yet, but it's expected to name Arizona Athletic Director Greg Byrne as his replacement. We'll talk about that a little bit. Perhaps Philip Fulmer coming back to the SEC, maybe this time as Tennessee's athletic director. That story seems to be gaining some steam.
Please.
Yeah, like to have. I mean, look, he's an interesting character and one of those that we've seen over the years, and it would certainly be interesting. The NFL playoffs this past weekend, 2 games very close, go down to the wire. 2 games not so close as the Atlanta Falcons pretty much dominate the Seahawks, and the New England Patriots dominate the Houston Texans. But we'll talk about those games. Alabama and Auburn basketball in action tomorrow night, both at home. Auburn takes on LSU. Alabama takes on, who do they take on? Missouri. So both of those winnable games for those programs, although it would seem that Alabama and Auburn heading in different directions. Alabama opening the season 3-1 in conference. Auburn opening the season 1-4 in conference, not where they wanted to be after a good out-of-conference schedule. We'll talk about these things and a lot more, but first, certainly, Randy, I'd like to get your thoughts. Auburn offensive coordinator position still up for grabs. Gus Malzahn taking his time. It was been reported that, no timetable for this, that he's told some of his own assistants that, that don't expect maybe, a quick hire, and really not enlightening them on who he's going after. But some of the names that you've heard, what do you think? What would you like to see as Auburn's new offensive coordinator?
It's hard to say because is Gus Malzahn going to turn over the keys to whatever system is brought in? Is he willing to change systems, I think, is the biggest question mark for most Auburn fans. And will this system work with a different quarterback in place? Is it still a system that you can plug and play? Or has the SEC and the rest of the country somewhat caught up with it? To me, I've watched enough of it. At times it can look like Arkansas, but at other times it can be completely pitiful. And we had moments a couple of years ago, and especially this year, where it was pitiful. The passing game is where I see the biggest issue as an Auburn fan. The originality in our passing game, I don't see it. And I thought Lane Kiffin did a tremendous job with Alabama in bringing that. And so, I'll bring it over to you, Luke, as an Alabama fan. I mean, as you watch Auburn, what are the things that jump out to you offensively that you go, man, until they get that corrected, they don't have much of a chance?
See, you asked for more originality, and if I were an Auburn fan in the passing game specifically, I just want some basics.
Yeah.
Give me a 5-yard out and just show me that you can complete it without some kind of quick huddle, without a couple of fake reverses. Just throw a regular pass, one pass that's regular. Because Auburn's running game is still good. It is a little inflated because they run so often, and it's also a little bit inflated this past year because the SEC was not very good. This is the first time in, I think since 2000, there was one team in the league that won double-digit games. That's pretty bad. But point being, I would just want to see something simple. Show me that you don't have to throw a bomb. Show me a 15-yard out. Show me a curl pattern. Show me anything that's not a bubble screen or heave it as far as you can. Those are the two passing plays it seems like Auburn has, and most of them involve some kind of fake reverse.
Let's go back to Rhett Lashley, though, a bit. What do you read into that, Andy? Have you talked about it much on the program? I'm sure y'all did on Saturday, but his exodus to go off and be an offensive coordinator at Connecticut, and what's he leaving, $250,000 a year on the table to do so?
Something like that. If it was a normal profession, it is absolutely beyond logic to go to a far less prestigious company and take a significant pay cut. That just doesn't really happen. However, coaching college football is not a normal profession. I mean, people think about Gus Malzahn. He turned down $3 million a year to go to Vanderbilt because he didn't think it was a viable job. And then the year later, he turns around and takes I think less than $1 million a year to go to Arkansas State. You go to different places at different times for different reasons. I think that offensive coordinators especially, sometimes you can be inextricably linked to the head coach, and you need to go out on your own and prove yourself. I think that played into a little bit of Rhett Lashley. I think for whatever reason, he gets finally, quote unquote, control of the offense. Right before the LSU game, Auburn goes on a 6-game winning streak. I think he has to be given some credit for that. For the first time he's been the coordinator at Auburn since 2013, but for him to be calling the plays, I think that spoke well of him. Now, Auburn lost 3 of their last 4. There were some injuries, obviously, but he shoulders some of the blame for that, for not being able to adjust. Now, something went on in those last 4 games, and the sideline looked different to me in the Sugar Bowl than it did, at other times, especially last year and things. So I think that, did he get fired? Maybe, but, it's always better to take a lateral position before that happens. 2
things. First of all, I think what happened in the last 3 of the last 4 games is the competition increased. In that 6-game winning streak, the best team Auburn played was the LSU team that fired their coach immediately after losing that game. They were so humiliated by it. So then you got a Vandy game in there, you got a Arkansas game in there, and Arkansas was just sort of floundering. They weren't very good. Mississippi State in there, they weren't very good. I mean, they shouldn't have gone to a bowl game. They had a losing record. So you just go on and on into the night. Everybody makes a lot of that 6-game winning streak, but it's who you played too. And then the second thing is, sometimes you're talking about in business, it doesn't make a lot of sense to go to another company that's of less prestige for less money. But right before I came in here, there was a commercial for Avadian Credit Union, a shameless free plug for Avadian Credit Union. But the commercial was, and it was about this lawyer who said, I was making a lot of money, I was doing a lot of things, I had all the money I could possibly want, but I didn't feel good. So I started doing this nonprofit thing, lost obviously a lot of income and had to pay a lot of taxes, went to Avadian Credit Union, the rest is history, everybody was happy. maybe that's part of Rhett Lashley's thing too. There was no way he could have been real happy because he was either getting the blame or he was listening to a lot of people blame the guy that was like a father to him in the coaching industry, right? I mean, it would have to be hard to be there. Either you're taking the brunt of the verbal abuse from everybody on the message boards or the text abuse, however you want to say it, or you're listening and reading that people say these horrible things about the guy that has mentored you. So it probably was a good thing for him just to break the tether and go do his own thing.
And I think that the timing was good for both parties because next year is a telltale for Auburn. If we can't make amends for what we've lost offensively the last couple of years, where do we go, Andy? I mean, how much further can you allow yourself to fall back to your major competitors, the ones that you would like to consider yourself as your rivals, the Georgias, the Alabamas, and somehow we've hung on somewhat against LSU. Les Miles allowed that to happen, I believe, because Les Miles, more than any, is about an average coach to go along with it. But the others, and the Georgias, there's no explanation for that, and the distance between us and Alabama right now is the one thing that I don't know how much longer we can continue.
That can be
down
said of
that.
most everybody.
Well, it can be, but we're in this state, and
we're
we
to be
sit
heading
here,
in the opposite
and
direction.
we've got to let this guy sit between us, and that's all throughout the state, though. And then at some point, you just are unwilling to swallow that much longer.
The first predictions, not the first, but AL.com came out with their first predictions for the SEC West next year. Now, take these all with a grain of salt because they don't mean much. We still don't know. Auburn hadn't hired an offensive coordinator. A lot of things could happen. Alabama has still got some coaching things they got to figure out, whatever. But they had Alabama 1, LSU 2, Auburn 3. If that's the way it falls out, okay, if that's the way it shakes out, I should say, and in that case, you would have to assume Auburn's going to have losses to LSU, Alabama, and probably a Clemson. Is that good enough for you? This is a question we'll be asking all summer. Is that good enough? Is 9-3 with losses to Alabama, LSU, Clemson, and I guess there could be one other one in there, but let's just assume it's 9-3. Is that good enough for you guys? I mean, what does he have to do, Gus, that is, to earn back the trust of most reasonable Auburn fans?
There better be a win over Georgia in that, and there better be a less than 2 touchdown loss to Alabama. That's the only way. I mean, that's the only way I'd be satisfied with that. I mean, if we lose to Clemson close, and again, it goes back to how you're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But if you beat Georgia and hammer them at home, I think that'll buy a lot of goodwill.
I agree with you. And stop losing by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
To that nemesis across the state.
That helped too.
And yeah, we can sound like a broken record like the rest of the SEC, but it's got to be cured. I mean, we're not just going to continue to move on through the 70s and happily say, let's lose 9 out of the next 10. I mean, I don't think any of us want that.
Bottom line is I think it is going to be mutually beneficial for Rhett Lashley and Auburn. Hopefully, and I wish him well. Hopefully Connecticut gets a good offensive coordinator. Hopefully Auburn upgrades at the position and finally gets somebody that knows how to coach a quarterback. That would help moving forward. Up against the break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back and talk a little bit about the new Alabama athletic director, or at least will be, I think, sometime around maybe March 1st or something like that. So looking forward to that. Join us, more to come on this edition of Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire.
Is our number one concern. Advanced Heat and Air.
Advanced Heating and Air makes your comfort their priority for any season. Advanced Heating and Air is the region's Trane dealer and an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer that can save you money and energy with a new electric heat pump. Advanced Heating and Air maintains the region's best service team, so rely on us to make your comfort our number one concern. Call 234-5052, and we're there for you.
The Sure Shot, located on Highway 280 in Alexander City, is Lake Martin Sportsman's headquarters. In the market for a new rifle or shotgun? Come to the Sure Shot. Want a new bow or need to practice with the one you have? Come to the Sure Shot. Thinking about a firearm for self-defense? Come to the Sure Shot. Got a hunt planned and need some gear? Come to the Sure Shot. For all your archery, shooting, and hunting needs, let the Sure Shot be your first stop.
If your New Year's resolution is to stop walking and start riding, then resolve yourself to run to Lake Martin Truck and Auto on Old Dadeville Road. Lake Martin Truck and Auto is the bank, and you don't need to worry about past credit, getting your tax money, or finding the ride that suits you, because Lake Martin Truck and Auto has the lowest down payments and monthly payments in the area with the best selection. Don't let the Slick City dealer take all that tax money or hassle you with credit. Lake Martin Truck and Auto, Old Dadeville Road in Alex City.
Over the years, S&S Tires has grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. S&S Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at S&S offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, S&S offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Alex City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
Ready to put some fun in your life? Whether it's Central or East Alabama, North Alabama, West Georgia, or wherever you're from, Fun Carts of Opelika is your authorized easy-go kart dealer that has no limits on a perfect easy-go kart. Whether it's a fully customized kart or a stock-made kart, we'll deliver it on time and at the best price. Fun Carts gives you the service after the sale, so no matter if it's hunting, tailgating, motorhoming, fleet rental, or just a better way to get around, Fun Carts of Opelika has it and will customize it to your needs. Visit us in Opelika or call us or visit online for the best easy-go karts. Put a little fun in your life with Fun Carts of Opelika.
At Vaden Toyota Sylacauga,
we pass savings on to you.
2017 Camry, only $18,788.
Pre-owned as low as $52.80.
Drive minutes, save a bundle.
Come experience the Vaden way.
Online or in our 280 showroom. At Vaden Toyota Sylacauga, we're here for you.
Toyota Care offers peace of mind with every new vehicle.
You get scheduled maintenance and 24-hour roadside assistance.
All at no cost to you.
To learn more, visit us online.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Bice Motors in Alexander City. Brian and his crew offer the latest lines of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, as well as the best used inventory around. Guaranteed lowest price. Bice.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live on this Tuesday evening. Hope everyone's having a wonderful evening out there. Andy, Luke, and Randy here with you until 9 o'clock. Bill Battle, Alabama Athletic Director, stepping down, retiring basically. He already retired one time. He came back and got the call when Mal Moore was ailing in health, and he takes over the Alabama Athletic Department, and really been a very prosperous 4 years under his watchful eye. He's made several coaching hires, but financially, I think the institution's in better shape than probably it's ever been. I don't know if that's, a guy with his business acumen, you probably have to give him a lot of credit for that. But I think at this point, the athletic director at Alabama's main job description is stay out of the way.
Yeah, I think it is. But I think you have to give him credit for that, too, when you have a guy who has done so well for himself and he's made enough money where, he really doesn't have to take an AD job. He did that as much of a public service as he did for anything, and his love for the university. But if you got to give somebody credit, I think, when they have a big ego, they're successful, but they have enough sense and the willpower to stay out of the way. It's very difficult to do if you know you're smart and you know you've got talent and you know you're successful, to let somebody else kind of run the ship. And I think that, at least football-wise, Nick Saban has run the ship unmistakably.
And I think that you can point just to the professional sports for that. I mean, look what a problem it is for those like Jerry Jones or many others to just step aside and say, look, keys to you, go run. And so I'm with you. And Bill Battle has proven. And how old was he when he took over the Tennessee job? Late 20s? Was he that? I mean, he was a young guy.
Yeah, he was young, but I don't think he was that young.
He was like the youngest in NCAA football, right? Yeah.
Let me see if we can pull that up. But I mean, was he was the head coach at Tennessee when did he take over? Like 66, somewhere around in there?
I'll have to go. It's in that neighborhood, yeah.
He had to have been a very young guy.
Yeah.
If you think about it. I mean, even though he's 75 right now.
I'm going to guess 30s, though. I mean, low 30s.
Okay.
Man, giving the keys to a 20-year-old back then, that would have been a...
And now new NFL coach, that's 30? Mm-hmm. Did I see that right?
Yeah, well, Oakland tried that a while back.
That didn't work out. But Nick Saban made him work, along with some others. But I'm sorry, I bounced off of subject a little bit.
No, that's quite all right.
Bill Battle, he has been very. He's had an illustrious career, and CLC and what he did with the Collegiate Licensing Company.
Yeah,
you can't say enough about that.
The one thing I would say that I don't, for my taste, he didn't fire Anthony Grant quick enough, and I think he had to be talked into getting rid of Anthony Grant. So goes the rumor mill, that he had to really be convinced, we got to get rid of this guy. This isn't working. And it reminded me a little bit of the whole Mike Shula thing and Mal Moore there for a while. Mal Moore gets a lot of credit for bringing Nick Saban in and not giving up until Saban came back with him. But let's also not forget Mal Moore was really on the verge of hanging on there with Shula when it was obvious to everybody this just isn't a good marriage. So, but he did bring in Avery Johnson, and that looks so far to be a great decision. I mean, we're a year and a half in, and I feel really good about it. I guess we have to wait about 5 years and make sure that that's a good decision. But for now, I feel very good about it.
He also hired new baseball coach Greg Goff. This will be his first season in 2017. He kind of oversaw. You have a legendary coach, Sarah Patterson, with a gymnastics program that retires. One of her assistants takes over. That's really not that, that's kind of a no-brainer kind of thing. But he does go out and hire women's basketball, and Alabama's women's basketball program had just been horrendous. And they're decent now. So that's actually an improvement. He goes out and gets Christy Curry from Texas Tech. But they renovate the baseball, Sewell Thomas. So, a lot of good things, that are going to be remembered under his tenure. Greg Byrne comes over a young. Now, this is one of those interesting things that, only twice now since I think 1983, something like that, since Bear Bryant was the athletic director, that somebody that does not have a direct connection to him has been hired as athletic director. One was Bob Backrack, and that did not work. This is another outsider that comes in. Again, it's a different world and it's a different time, and it's, just do your job and don't upset Nick. I think that's, that seems to be.
Don't upset Nick and continue to talk him into hanging on as long as you can keep him around, and that's another topic we can bring up. But that's going to be what this next athletic director as well is going to have to probably deal with, is the replacement for Nick Saban. Man, I wouldn't wish that upon anybody.
Well, Byrne had a shot at the Florida AD position too, but he chose Alabama. He wanted to be here. Everybody says this when you get hired, it's my dream job. But I think he's a great hire. I do. And I'm not going to profess to know a lot about who's a real good athletic director and who isn't. I mean, I don't study all the athletic directors. We don't see them in action like we see coaches or quarterbacks or what have you. But Arizona's got a pretty good program. Now, Rich Rod hadn't worked out there, but you know what? Nobody's really worked out in Arizona for quite some time in football. And the basketball-wise, though, they are one of the preeminent basketball powers in the country. And Sean Miller is doing an incredible job. He was able to bring Sean Miller in. I think that says a lot about him. And I think this could be a signal that eventually Alabama's going to get rid of Coleman Coliseum. Despite the multi-million-dollar renovation they did to it, it's still a less than facility overall. I mean, it's got a stigma attached to it, and I think Byrne is going to be the kind of guy that's going to say we got to build something new and maybe a little bit smaller, a little more intimate, and a little bit more crowd friendly. Because Coleman, you can have 12,000 people in there, you still got 3,000 empty seats. It just doesn't look right. I mean, 12,000 is a good crowd for basketball in this state, right?
This day and age, absolutely, great crowd. That's one thing that I was glad that Auburn did when they built Auburn Arena, was to make it. I mean, they understood and admitted we are who we are. Let's make it a 9,000 seat arena. That way, even we can sell that out, and it becomes, and it's even despite Auburn's lack of success, it's become a benefit for home games, and it's been you've heard other people and other coaches talk about this is a good environment to play basketball. So I think that may be where a lot of teams are heading in that direction.
256-234-6221, 256-234-6464 as well, and 800-782-0108. Phone line's always open on our program here. I want to welcome back JR Sports Bar and Grill as one of our corporate partners, along with S&S Discount Tire, and looking forward to 2017, maybe some more big news to come here in the next couple of months.
Tease them.
Yeah. We'll see.
Big news.
As I'm walking around like a zombie, running from one meeting to the next. We'll see.
Well, don't do that. Well, we'll talk again. You know, if you got a subject you'd like to bring up, give us a call. We'll continue to talk about these subjects. We'll tease this and carry this over to the next segment. But Philip Fulmer, you were very excited when I mentioned that.
Oh,
you'd love to have
God,
Phil
please.
back in the. Well, how long would it be before Alabama's on probation if he comes back in the league?
You know, I don't think that's going to happen. Honestly, I think Tennessee could be more of the option to be on probation, because hiring Phil Fulmer would be such a sign of desperation. It also tells me they're willing to do anything that they can to try and make something happen. I mean, their basketball program hadn't exactly been world beaters under Rick Barnes. Granted, he's only been there a year and a half, too, and some things may change there, but they booted a kid from Decatur recently. From the state of Alabama that was on their team. They just had to boot him. The women's team, they got a big win last night against Notre Dame, but they weren't even ranked. I mean, I'm not going to watch a lot of women's basketball, but Tennessee not being ranked kind of shocked me. And the football program is what it is. I mean, they can win their bowl games. They play the Northwesterns of the world in their bowl game, but they hadn't come close to beating Alabama unless they had Lane Kiffin as head coach. And that irritates them. Just saying that out loud makes them mad. So having Phil Fulmer back, I'm glad. I hope Phil Fulmer does come back, because I think that he took the easy way out. Two things that I regret about the Nick Saban era is that Tommy Tuberville and Philip Fulmer left too early, because they needed to hang around for about 2 or 3 more butt kickings each. That's both of those guys need to hang around.
And Tuberville, the writing was on the wall. I'll never forget this, and I know we got to go to break. We offered 16. Alabama offered 16. The last year Tuberville was there, we got none of them. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
16-16, we went up against one another. We didn't get any. That had to be Julio Jones' class.
It was, and if you remember, Tuberville never really liked recruiting that much. He was just very good at finding guys that were the diamonds in the rough kind of guys.
We could coach them up. We'd take 3 stars and coach them up. That was his philosophy, which, that's kind of Mississippi State's philosophy.
Yeah.
We don't want to be Mississippi State.
Still a Tuberville fan.
Oh, I am
Don't
too.
throw him.
Don't throw him. I'm just. We did it well.
Yeah.
We won a lot of games. Won a heck of a lot more games than we've won lately. I'll say that. Up against a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll continue these discussions. Take your phone calls. More of the Sportz Blitz live program right after this.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a 4-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
Don't you know there's no clean like Peaches and Clean?
Wow, your carpets look fantastic.
Yeah, thanks to Peaches and Clean.
They look new again.
They also clean my kitchen tile.
Simply amazing. I'm calling Peaches and Clean today.
Just call 502-5326. Oh yeah, they have an area rug cleaning facility too.
Peaches and Clean is now expanded to the Alexander City Lake Martin Market. Give them a call at 334-502-5326.
Call us up at Peaches and Clean.
Get the best seat in the house for every game this football season. Upgrade that old recliner for the comfort of FlexSteel from Holly's Home Furnishings. Stunning styles, incredible comfort, and FlexSteel's signature blue steel construction. At Holly's Home Furnishings, we offer a variety of different fabric and leather options, plus state-of-the-art power recliners. Come in and score big today with Holly's Home Furnishings' unbeatable selection and unbelievable everyday prices. Family-owned and operated Holly's Home Furnishings located in Alexander City and Montgomery.
Heads up, we're going back to 77. Disco, bell-bottoms, and Ford F-Series starts its epic run as the best-selling trucks in America. Fast forward to 2017, F-Series is still king for 40 straight years. How? Rock-solid durability, up-to-the nanosecond technology, and jaw-dropping capability. No wonder the competition hasn't been number one since these. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 40 straight years.
Different flavors make the world go around. And now try the flavor of hot honey mustard on the boneless wings meal. Served with crinkle fries, Texas toast, and a 22-ounce drink. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's. Indescribably good.
Attention bow hunters and archers. Archery Connection has 30,000 square feet of wall-to-wall archery. Bows, crossbows, and hunting supplies. Purchase a bow or crossbow and receive free service for life, free archery lessons for life, and 1 week of shooting on our indoor range. Video archery, or our 45-yard indoor sight and range. Archery Connection is your one-stop shop for all your hunting and archery needs. Come see us at Archery Connection in Phoenix City, Alabama, where hunters and archers connect.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Dark Insurance, offering insurance for all your personal needs, including auto, boat, homeowners, and disability. Don't be in the dark. Call Dark Insurance at 256-234-5026.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live. Andy, Luke, and Randy here with you until 9 o'clock. We'll go ahead and welcome in our good friend Brett Pritchard on the line, talking about the Auburn Blitz. Brett, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, Andy. Is this that Sportz Blitz Live program you were talking about?
This is it.
It's the Sportz Blitz Live show program.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was on the right one. You know, Andy, when you're used to sports call and doing something so long, it's hard to make that adjustment, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and I appreciate you calling it out.
It's all in good fun, brother.
I know it. I appreciate it. Keep me honest. But it is the Auburn Blitz. As we mentioned at the opening of the show, Auburn's still in search of their next offensive coordinator. Of the names that you've heard, or who do you like? Who would you like to see to be named?
Well, I mean, we've got signing day in a couple of weeks, and I think that's a key. I was on with Gary Harris this morning again on the show in Tuscaloosa, and the first thing he asked was, what's the skinny on what happened? And I mean, obviously, I think the handwriting was on the wall with Brett. This is going to be a situation where, Gus Malzahn probably was told, all right, you're going to have to make a change, or we're going to make a change. We've seen this with coaches numerous times, and everybody's like, well, I just don't understand why Rhett Lashley took a $250,000 pay cut. Well, I know why he took a $250,000 pay cut, because he didn't have a choice. Something had to change, and obviously head coaches are given that opportunity to make a change in their staff before they're shown the door. And I think that's where Gus Malzahn is. He's made this change. We saw this happen with Tommy Tuberville, with Hugh Nall, and then he was able to go out and hire Al Borges, and he righted the ship. So hopefully Gus Malzahn will be able to do that. But, it's all over the map right now. Obviously, one of the top names that you've heard this week is Helfrich, the former Oregon coach, was the offensive coordinator under Chip Kelly. Don't know. Nobody really knows. They're not letting anything out very much. Even the insiders aren't having much to say. Chip Lindsey, who all of us remember, was part of high school football here in the state of Alabama and went to Georgia in high school football, and then was offensive analyst for Gus Malzahn in 2013 before he left to take the Southern Miss offensive coordinator job from 14 and 15, and then he's out at Arizona State now. So he's a candidate. I've heard even T. Martin, because T. Martin's from Mobile. He's Southern Cal right now as offensive coordinator. We all know what they did this year coming down the stretch. He's got roots in Alabama, played at Tennessee, as you can remember, but that he's a guy out there. One that I've heard that I don't think is reality because they're in too good of a situation, but would be a huge hire if Auburn could land it, big Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma. A system that obviously is able to score a lot of points through the air and on the ground. And, let's just mention that whoever the offensive coordinator is going to be inheriting a pretty talented offensive side of the football. I mean, the offensive line's still intact pretty much. If Stidham works out, he's going to have a pretty good quarterback to work with, a very talented group of receivers to work with. So there's some pieces there that a lot of people would enjoy being able to come in and run this offense.
Well, Brett, if you're looking for a quality in an offensive coordinator, I mean, you've seen what Auburn is the last 4 years with Gus Malzahn running the show. If you're looking for a single quality for a guy that you bring in, what would it be?
I don't know if it's a single quality that I'm looking for in one person. I want Gus Malzahn to be able to cut the ties and let whoever he hires run his offense. I think that's what he needs. I think sometimes that's the toughest thing in the world to do for a head coach, especially a younger head coach like Malzahn, who wants to continue to do what he's always known, and that's coach offense. But he's now in a different role. He has an entire program to manage instead of one side of the football. So you need to hire a very good coach that you trust and have a lot of faith in that can get the job done, and then let him do his job. Let him do what you hired him to do. And I think that's going to be the toughest thing for Malzahn to do. But this is his last rodeo, in my opinion. I'm sure all of you up there will agree with me that this is Gus Malzahn's opportunity to right the ship, because 8-5 is just not going to cut it anymore. It's been 8-5, 7-6, 8-5, and frankly, the way all of those seasons ended is the reason Gus Malzahn's in the shape he's in. It's not how the season started; it's how the season's ended. And you're looking at, 4 in a row to Georgia, 4 in a row to Alabama on the horizon. And Luke, you guys remember when you rattle off X number of wins against your arch rival, I don't care what else you've done, it's just not going to stand for very long. And I think this is Gus Malzahn's last opportunity to get it right.
And Brett, I know this is a loaded question, but I asked Randy and Andy this question, and I said, what then would be enough? I mean, everybody keeps saying he needs to do it and get it right, or he's out the door. With Alabama still sitting over there in the West, and they're loaded for bear again next year, if Auburn doesn't win the West but goes 9-3 with a loss to Bama, LSU, and maybe Clemson mixed in there, is that good enough for you?
Yeah, I think it is, Luke, and let me tell you why I think it is. Because that means you've beaten Georgia, you've beaten Texas A&M, and you've won 9 games in the regular season, and you've made a stride to go back in the right direction. I told somebody the other day about us losing to Alabama. Look, Alabama's set the bar high. I mean, as high as we've ever seen in this league, especially in this day and age where things are so much more even and people can recruit the way they can recruit. Auburn, losing Alabama is no different. Everybody else has been losing Alabama. What's Alabama lost in the last 6 years? 6 conference games, Luke, in the last 6 years?
That sounds about right.
Okay, so we're not in a boat by ourselves, but here's the problem I have with Auburn. Why can't Auburn be number 2? Why can't Auburn establish themselves with the recruiting classes they've had? Why can't Auburn be 10-2 or 11-1 every year? The years that Auburn has beaten Alabama, you know what their record has been? 11-1. So when Alabama does get beat by Auburn, they still had a really, really good season. Well, we only play Alabama one time. think that's where people have the problem. Not just so much losing to Alabama. Of course, you want to beat your arch rival, but it's what are you doing in the other games? And they're not consistent. And I think that's where Auburn fans want this program to be and expect this program to be.
Brett, let's switch gears a little bit. Auburn basketball with Bruce Pearl started out, had a great out-of-conference season. We're, I think, 10-2 going into the SEC schedule. Have started 1-4. Have you already given up on the season?
Are we playing basketball still? Well, you know, it unfortunately, off to such a great start out of the conference. You put together some impressive wins on the road against an Oklahoma, against a UConn, even though UConn isn't the UConn we've been used to. Normally, Auburn would never go on the road to UConn under any circumstances and pull out a win. You know, and then one of your two losses going in is to a very good Purdue team, and Auburn beat a very good Texas Tech team that has really been on fire lately. So I felt good about it. But you get into conference play, and you get a little bit maybe above average Georgia team coming into your place with everybody on fire, everybody excited, and you lose by double digits. And then you answer it back, and you have Ole Miss come into your place, and you lay an egg against them. And there's no reason you should have lost to either one of those teams at home. You pull out a win against Missouri. Nobody expected you to beat Kentucky. But then, I mean, it's just how Auburn plays in the conference play, and there's no rhyme or reason for why you start off 1-4, not with the schedule the way it's set up at the beginning part of the conference schedule. Now you got Alabama coming up this weekend. You got LSU coming up this week. So two teams that, LSU not very good, but Alabama's been playing really good since they've gotten in conference play. So it's kind of right the opposite. Alabama started off a little bit rough, but got in conference play, and they've really been playing well. So, Auburn could be easily staring at 1-5, 1-6. I don't really have an explanation.
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody does.
No, but I'll say a couple of things about that, Brett. Is first of all, Oklahoma is 7-9 and UConn is 7-10. I think that just gave some folks a little bit of false hope. And secondly, a parallel that's kind of funny here, or a contrast, I should say. What if Bruce Pearl had started off the way Gus Malzahn had, and Gus Malzahn had started off the way Bruce Pearl had? It's funny to me that everybody wants to give Bruce Pearl all this credit and give him all this patience. Meanwhile, I think Gus Malzahn's national championship appearance in that first season has really come back to hurt him, because people have expected it every year, when in fact just everything went well for him in that first season. And you look at Bruce Pearl, he's having some of the worst records that Auburn's even had in a while, worse than Tony Barbie's, yet everybody wants to give him patience. Why do you think that is?
Well, first of all, I don't know what it is about Auburn football, but we've notoriously had fast starts for football coaches. Terry Bowden, look at his first year. You come in and what he inherited, he goes undefeated. And the next year, he ties Georgia and loses to Alabama, but ends up having the longest winning streak over 2 years in the country. And then, Tommy Tuberville, it didn't take him long to rise to the top. And you look at Gene Chizik, in year number 2, has Auburn in the national championship game, wins the game. You look at Gus Malzahn, his first year, go to a national championship. I don't know what it is about getting off to a good – maybe we just need to hire a new coach every 2 years. It seems like a good formula for us. But in basketball, Luke, I think what Bruce Pearl has done in his career, and you look at his record, and you look at all the success he's had everywhere he's been, I think Auburn fans look at the basketball program versus the football program a lot differently. They look at basketball as we've never really been that good. We've never hired a really high-profile coach like a Bruce Pearl, and I think their mentality is, and at least mine is if Bruce Pearl can't win, I don't know who can, and who can Auburn realistically expect to go out and get to replace him. I mean, he's recruiting his tail off. This will be 3 great recruiting classes in a row. We've never seen this caliber of player come to Auburn this many years in a row, so obviously they're buying into something. I just don't know why it doesn't click and when it'll click. So I think that's where Auburn fans are with basketball. On the other hand, a lot less patient with football teams and expectations, because of the history and what we expect out of it. So I really think that's it in a nutshell.
Brett, we appreciate it so much. You're welcome to be a part of the Sportz Blitz Live program anytime.
Man, I love being part of the Sportz Blitz Live program. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. I'll say this about Bruce Pearl. Auburn students probably wouldn't even recognize Tony Barbie if he sat down beside him.
That's true.
Bruce Pearl has come in and looked like, he has done everything over and above any coach that's ever been there, trying to ingratiate himself, being a part of immersing himself in the culture and just trying to build the program from the ground up. Barbie never did anything. And so I think that's one of the reasons people are willing to say, we'll be patient as long as it takes.
But it is funny, the dynamic here. You've got,
it is.
Because Gus Malzahn did something that very few Auburn coaches have done. Make it to a national championship game, right? And he's on the hot seat. I think that's undeniable. Meanwhile, Bruce Pearl has come in and done what just about every Auburn basketball coach does, is have losing records, but everybody still likes him. I get it. I'm just saying it's fun. If Malzahn had the same, meaning if Malzahn had started off 8-5, 7-6, 8-5, and then gone 12-2, everybody'd be singing his praises. But it's just because I think he's a victim of his own success, winning so fast, so quick.
And, if Gus had come in with a national championship, granted in a lower division and several playoff appearances, like Bruce Pearl. Bruce Pearl's won a national championship. And granted, it was Division II, I think, or whatever, but he's taken an SEC team to multiple tournaments. So the man knows how to coach. I don't think that's in dispute. So I think that's why, and another reason people are saying, you just got to take some time. So we'll have to wait and see.
We have nothing but time.
Absolutely. What is the problem? We're going from, I think we've won about 9 games in conference in the last 5 years. So, who cares? We'll be patient. Up against a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll continue these discussions. More to come on Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
If you've been putting off that new heating and air unit in your home because of the upfront expenses, Williams Plumbing of Alexander City now has primary financing from Synchrony and can now install brand new heating and cooling systems with 0 down, longer terms, and a competitive rate. Call Williams Plumbing at 256-329-8488 and get a free quote and terms and upgrade up to $35,000 in work with approved credit. Williams Plumbing stands behind their work with on-time affordable service for all your heating and air needs, as well as plumbing for 0 down financing and great service. Williams Plumbing.
Auburn Opelika has that perfect something for you. From sophisticated chic boutiques to exceptional dining, there's a retailer or restaurant to make your next visit special. Whether it's elegant fine dining or freshly squeezed lemonade, you'll find the perfect fit for every taste and budget. The food's great and the shopping is too. So be sure to check out the wide array of gifts, decor, clothing, and more. For every occasion, Auburn Opelika has what you're looking for. Let's make your next trip memorable. Visit Auburn Opelika.
At U.S. AmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, U.S. AmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com or your local branch to discover the U.S. AmeriBank difference. U.S. AmeriBank. Banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
No pest is too big or too small for Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Protect your home or business today from insects, termites, mosquitoes, and more. Lex uses the latest state-of-the-art technology and equipment to solve your pest problem, including the environmentally friendly Centricon termite baiting system. Lex has been servicing the Lake Martin area for over 35 years and has a full staff on hand. Call Lex today, even if it's just a question, at 256-234-6162. Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Smart solutions to your pest problems.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace. Smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
There's a place in America where you can almost see Russia, which means there's a place in Russia where you can definitely hear America.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz. Andy, Luke, and Randy here with you, or at least Andy and Luke will be with you until 9. I don't know about our third party.
I was going to leave with Randy. I was just going to let you be out of here. Let me tell you something. I've done the slow death where it's a one-man show out here before, and it was.
You don't want to see that show with me, for sure. Just running down a couple of things as we close out the first hour. Mike Loxley named a real assistant, not just an analyst. Mick Saban said he got a very high opinion of him, says he's a good offensive mind. Don't know what position. What position will he be taking over? Who knows?
I have no idea.
They need an offensive line coach.
Yeah,
but I don't think that's him.
I don't think that's going to be. I just don't know. With Saban, look, Loxley is known as a power recruiter. And so that's what it's all about. He's like, go out there and find me a couple of Julio Joneses and O.J. Howards, and then, we'll get anybody to coach them. And I think that system works pretty well.
It does, but it seems to only work well for Alabama. I mean, we
good point. Andy.
Auburn can hire guys that are just great recruiters and not very good coaches, and our place stinks on the field. But we've got a bunch of 5-star guys that look good in the uniform on the sideline. We hire great coaches that aren't very good recruiters, and we've got 2 and 3-star talent that we got to do. By the time they're a senior, man, they look pretty good. But those first 3 years were a waste.
He makes a good point here, Luke, because the development that Saban, he doesn't get near the credit.
I agree with that.
That he deserves, and the culture that he has clearly cultivated, not only with a weight program and overall keeping care of the kids that were there once they're there. And I don't know. I mean, yeah, he gets a lot of credit for his recruiting, but I think you should be talking about the whole product.
At the same time, okay, for instance, when we have Keith Niebuhr on, is it Niebuhr or Niebuhr?
I think it's Niebuhr, but
I think I just mispronounced. I think it's Niebuhr. But so when we have Keith on today, 24/7 came out with their new rankings, right? T.D. Moultrie, Auburn's commitment, got bumped up to a 5-star, number 18 in the country. Calvin Ashley dropped a little bit, but hung on to 5-star status. I think he's number 24 in the country or something. And so they're real fired up about that, right? I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, that's more 5 stars. Auburn usually gets a 5-star, maybe 2, right? Alabama is on the verge of getting potentially 8 5-stars out of 32 5-stars total in the country. So 1/4 of them are going to be potentially going to Alabama. That's ridiculous.
And the other half's going to Ohio State.
The other half's going to Ohio State's got a ridiculous class too. That's what I was going to say, is that Auburn's recruiting hadn't been bad. It's been actually pretty good, but it isn't really close to Ohio State, Alabama, and I would say probably throw Clemson in there and maybe Florida State. Florida State's they're pretty ridiculous too. And I'll tell you somebody who's creeping up there, and that's Georgia. So Georgia and maybe throw LSU in there just for good measure. Those programs have been the best recruiting programs. USC was years ago, and they may be getting back in that, but it's taken a little bit of time just because of the sanctions. But when you've got Alabama, Florida State, and Ohio State probably taking at least half the 5-stars away from the rest of the country, maybe more than that, it just makes things tough for everybody else.
Rich get richer. And it seems to be even more a discrepancy between those that are getting. And luckily for Auburn, we are holding on. This could be worse. Let's don't kid ourselves. It really could, because if you look back to even the Chizik era, moving into the Malzahn era, well, we've probably averaged a 7 to 12, somewhere between 7 and 12, and we could sneak up to a little better than that in a few of those years, but I would guess our overall recruiting ranking somewhere between 7 and 12.
I agree.
I about right
8,
where
9,
we are.
10.
8.
Yeah. That's a norm for us, and that's something to be said. And like Luke always says, you're a quarterback away. In a program like ours, where you're not getting 8, you're not getting a quarter of them, then you've got to have that guy that comes in that makes a huge difference. And hopefully we've got him. We don't know if we've got him, but Luke says that Auburn's one of those programs, and I'll let you say that, that needs a player like that.
And I think the other thing is it's not always just recruiting. You have to have, the schedule has to fall right. You have to have some luck with injuries, et cetera. And I think, but what the power recruiting, the Alabama, Ohio State, and I'll put Florida State in there, even though I don't think they've made as much hay with it as they should have. Alabama and Ohio State specifically they've minimized the injury and the luck and the schedule factor. They've minimized it because their recruiting is so much better than everybody else's. If they lose a guy, if they lose a Sean Deion Hamilton, I mean, for most teams, losing Sean Deion Hamilton would be crippling to your defense. For Alabama, you put Rashaan Evans, who was what? A 5-star in there. And I mean, that's the difference between Ohio State, you lose your quarterback, oh my gosh, this is awful. Then you lose your second quarterback, oh my God, it's even worse. They win a national championship because their recruiting is so ridiculous.
Boy, it didn't look at I know we got to go against the break, but that Ohio State team against Clemson offensively looked like they had a playmaker or two that were up to par with this team. What was number 4's name?
Curtis Samuel talking about?
That's it, my friend.
Well, and he's awesome. But what I'd say about that is we're pulling out one game, and I'm giving Urban Meyer the pat.
Of course.
Consistently Ohio State's in there. I mean, they lose 1, maybe 2 games a year if they don't go undefeated.
But you watch the Michigan game with them, and you watch several other games for Ohio State this year, and no one really jumps off the field at you.
Samuel does. And I'll tell you that Brown kid, what was his name? Mike Brown? I can't remember. The wide receiver who had an awesome game against Oklahoma. He caught maybe 4 touchdown passes. He looked ridiculous. And then they also have the safety Hooker. He's great too. So I mean, Ohio State's going to have a bunch of guys drafted again. You think a year ago they had Ezekiel Elliott, who was just whipping apart an NFL defense in the playoffs.
I think we got a phone call we might try to get right quick.
Caller, you're on Sportz Blitz.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, I'd like to know who's going to be the Auburn offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I wish I could tell you. I don't know who that's going to be, but a lot of names being circulated right now. I think Oklahoma State offensive coordinator Mike Urich was interviewed today. Mark Helfrich, a guy that was fired at Oregon, his name's been mentioned. Chip Lindsey, a former the offensive coordinator at Arizona State's name's been mentioned as well. Gus Malzahn's pretty good about keeping these things close to the vest, so he probably won't know until that announcement's actually made.
Okay, then. I seen the number on the TV, and I want a call, and I'll be calling back, checking.
All right.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the call. 256-234-6221.
Up against the break. Don't go anywhere. More of Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
Got your eye on a new Nissan? It's time to zero in on huge savings at Lynch Nissan of Auburn. 0% financing is back in a big way on many of your favorite Nissan models, but only for a limited time. Buy today and save up to $11,000 off MSRP on remaining 2016s as we make room for the 2017. Get up to $7,000 off MSRP on the new Altima SL or 0% for 72 months. Just click it and pick it now at lynchnissan.com. Lynch Nissan of Auburn, I-85 at exit 51.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
Boaters in the Lake Martin area know whether you need service, maintenance, repairs, a great selection of pre-owned boats, or a brand new Landau pontoon. Alex City Marine at the corner of 63 and 280 is there for you. Thanks to a record-setting sales year, Alex City Marine now has one of the finest pre-owned inventories they've ever had. Repairs, service, routine maintenance, for all your boating needs. See the pros the locals know. Alex City Marine at the corner of 63 and 280. Check them out online at alexcitymarine.com.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp. Here at my office, we want to be different than the big city billboard lawyers. We want to give your case the personal attention that it deserves. We handle auto accidents, tractor-trailer accidents, and other cases where our clients have been injured and need personal legal attention. To me and my staff, you will not just be another number on the case file, and we will return your phone calls. So if you've been injured, give me a call today or visit us on our website.
Textile left. Our economy was threatened. Then the Hyundai and parts supplier plants opened. Now our economy is thriving. Our friends and neighbors build some of the finest cars in the world. Yearly national and international awards. Compare Hyundai of Auburn, America's best warranty in creating local jobs and growth. Compelling reasons to compare. This week at Hyundai of Auburn, 0% interest, $149 leases, and $4,000 cash back. Plus other discounts. You owe it to yourself and your community. Hyundai of Auburn.
Lyman Ward Military Academy in Camp Hill, Alabama, known worldwide for programs and outstanding facilities designed to prepare young men for future success. Young men who are academically prepared for a rapidly evolving economy, morally prepared through character development and spiritual guidance, physically challenged by preparing for athletic competition, and prepared to be leaders in their careers through the structure of military discipline. Lyman Ward Military Academy, over a century of preparing youth for the work of life.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Satterfield on Highway 280 in Alex City. Satterfield is the Lake Martin area's Big Green Egg and Accessories headquarters.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live on this Tuesday evening. Andy and Luke here with you. We're going to go to the phone line and welcome in the recruiting analyst for 24/7 Sports, Mr. Keith Niebuhr. Keith, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
Not a whole lot. Understand that you're actually in the middle of checking out a prospect right now. Said you're standing pretty close to Gus Malzahn himself.
I sure am. I'm at Lanier High School, about 15 miles north of Atlanta. At Lanier High School is one of the top linebacker targets still uncommitted in the country. That's Tyler Taylor. Gus Malzahn is visiting tonight. You get one head coach visit during the contact period. Gus used it to attend Tyler's basketball game. He's here with linebackers coach Travis Williams and secondary coach Greg Brown. They hit another prospect in Atlanta earlier today, and their main competition is the Oklahoma Sooners and Oklahoma linebackers coach Tim Kish, who I also know is in the stands as well. The game has just ended, and funny, but the Oklahoma coach and the Auburn coaches are kind of chatting it up right now. That's usually how it goes. It's usually pretty cordial. But during the game, Gus Malzahn and the Auburn coaches were able to sit with Tyler's parents, and that's usually customary. The other coach that's here, he's on his own. He's not with the head coach, so you kind of cede that time to the school that is there with the head coach, who then gets all that time with the prospect. So right now, Gus Malzahn hanging out with the family of Tyler Taylor, Oklahoma's linebackers coach, kind of off to the side a little bit, chatting with one of the other Auburn coaches.
Well, obviously Auburn looking for a linebacker commitment from him, but another commitment that got bumped up today was T.D. Moultrie. This is a kid that I absolutely love out of the Birmingham area. I've been impressed with him ever since I saw him and interviewed him at the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game. I just think he's a great talent, and he got moved all the way up number 18 in the country today.
Yeah, great kid, great story. Actually took a bullet a couple years ago, was shot out of the park in Birmingham. He's been committed to Auburn for quite some time. Was very good at the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game, was very good during his senior season, and then 2 weeks ago in San Antonio, Texas, myself and the other members of the 24/7 Sports staff got a good look at him, and he's just impressive. I mean, he doesn't he doesn't wow you with his height and weight. He's just a little over 6 feet, 228. No fat, I should point out, but it's just the way he plays and the motor he he has. And a cool thing for him, he got to get coached up by former Auburn great and Pro Football Hall of Famer Kevin Green. Not a better pass rusher in the NFL in the 1990s than Kevin Green. And, Kevin Green thinks that TD's future maybe is a rush guy, maybe is an edge rusher, because he's so explosive and has the great COD, the change of direction, which you cannot coach. You either got it or you don't, and not many people have it. Like TD Moultrie, he's going to end up as the highest-rated Auburn commitment in the 24/7 Sports rankings, ahead of, highest-rated high school prospect, ahead of even Calvin Ashley, the 5-star offensive tackle. So big day for him, but I'll tell you guys, TD Moultrie's the last guy that cares about rankings. And, in fact, I talked to him about rankings in San Antonio, and he flat out said, I never look at them. That's the kind of guy you want on your team.
It is, and I'll tell you another kid that has really moved up the charts, and I think he's the #1 wide receiver in the country now, right here out of the state of Alabama, and that's Henry Ruggs. Does Auburn still have a chance with him?
I don't think so. Let's just be honest here. I don't think so. I think it's Alabama 1, FSU 2, and maybe some other teams like Florida still somewhat in the mix. He's kind of moved away from Auburn a little bit in the last couple of months. It's been trending in the other direction. Great player, super athlete. He's not a finished product, though. So, in other words, he's going to need a little work, but the upside on him is sensational. I think he'll work hard. And, again, an athletic freak, you hate to use the term freak too much, but when a guy's 6 feet tall and his waist is up by the rim when he's playing basketball, then you can basically say he's an athletic freak. You know what I mean? If I could dunk like him for a day, man, I'll tell you what, I'd give up a few years of my life to be able to do what he can do on the basketball court. And that kind of athleticism transcends to the football field for him. That's what makes him so special and has such a great upside.
Well, the Auburn Tigers now with 20 commits, ranked 8th in the country in that class. When you look at it really from top to bottom, how do you think it fulfills Auburn's needs right now?
Well, needs have to be 2 years out, is what I always say. People are like, oh, my God, we need receivers right now. Well, if you need them right now, then you got problems, right? So 2 years out is what you're looking for. So I think Auburn's doing great on the offensive line where they can work these guys in slowly. They're doing great at linebacker where every single linebacker's back. They can work them in slowly. Very good in the secondary. They can work them in slowly. You've got the 2 quarterbacks, one who you can develop, and then another one who, you're going to have battling for the starting job in the spring. Where you really want to see more is at receiver and on the defensive line. But remember, last year Auburn signed an unbelievable D-line class and an unbelievable receivers class. So it was natural that there was going to be a little bit of a step back at those 2 spots this year. The good news, you don't need those guys to start right away. Whatever guys you get, you can slowly develop, to be honest with you. You can be patient with them. Now, that doesn't mean they won't play. But if you're good enough, they will. But the areas that they needed to do well, I think they have done well. Especially, let's be honest, guys, Jarrett Stidham is maybe the most important recruit in the entire country. Forget about the team. Period. That is a potential game changer. We will see. Still got to win the job, but that is a potential game changer for Auburn. Let's just call it what it is.
Absolutely. Auburn has, in previous years, been pretty notorious for finishing strong down the stretch. It seems like they're not in on as many big recruits right now, but how do you think Auburn finishes this recruiting?
Yeah. Sorry. To be honest, not as many big guys late. You got to hold on to Calvin Ashley. That's the big one. That's Maryland is pushing hard. He's up in D.C. playing. There's a lot of pressure up there to go to Maryland, so they got to hold on to him. And they got to just finish with some, one more good linebacker. They're trying to work on a guy as we speak. I'm watching Gus. I'm watching Gus Malzahn recruit right now, and you want another receiver, but that may not come until after you hire an offensive coordinator. We'll have to see. And then really the defensive line, Ryan Johnson would be a big get, an in-state kid. Looks like Auburn and Stanford really battling it out there, and he's going to find out this week if he gets into Stanford. That's an interesting one because when that kid gets accepted to Stanford, boy, it's hard to. That's an opportunity that not too many kids are passing up these days. So we'll see what happens there.
You speak of the offensive coordinator search. Do you have any thoughts about that? What direction Auburn might be moving?
No, I don't, because I really follow it from. I let our team, the guys that cover the team, handle all that. I follow it from once it happens, and then I hit the kids. Okay, what do you think? But the reality is with a coordinator hire, a lot of times it's a coach that the kids at Auburn and these schools don't know. They don't follow. They don't know who coaches are at Oregon and Texas, and they really. When Will Muschamp got hired at Florida, I remember we interviewed a bunch of kids that were Gator recruits, and they're like, "Who the heck is that?" Well, you guys know who it was, and I knew who it was, but we take it for granted sometimes. 16-year-old kids don't know. What they want to see is an exciting product and a winning product, and a guy they think can get him to the NFL, whatever position he coaches, whether it's quarterbacks or something else. So, they'll do their research. You know what? If you're a coach and you walk into a school and you've got that Auburn logo on your jacket or your shirt, that gets you in the door 99% of the time too. So I think every kid's sort of curious, but I don't think it's going to impact this class too much because the quarterbacks are already early enrolled. Jared Stidham and Malik Willis. Your offensive linemen are already committed. Your running backs, your fullback. You're working on a fullback, so I don't think it's going to impact too much now. But moving forward, obviously, what they do in the spring, what they do early next fall will determine what kind of offensive class you put together the next cycle.
Well, Keith, we really appreciate you joining us. Talk a little bit about the SEC Recruiting Buzz podcast.
Oh, yeah, it's just a little thing we do on iTunes. We get a lot of good ratings, though. I will say a lot of people like it. So if you have iTunes or Google Play, you just want to do a search for SEC Recruiting Buzz. And obviously, I work for 24/7 Sports, so you can find a lot of my stuff there, too. And, it's busy this time of year. We're trying to do as many insider pieces as we can, pieces that you're not going to get anywhere else, we hope.
We'll follow Keith at Keith 24/7 Sports. Keith Neighbor, we really appreciate you joining us. Good stuff as always.
Yeah, anytime, guys. And I hope the sound wasn't too bad. I'm in the middle of a high school gym here, so I apologize, everybody listening, if I didn't come through too clearly.
No problem at all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Keith.
That's
Keith Neighbor from 24/7 Sports. He does a great job with all the recruiting. This is your.
It's my wheelhouse, man.
Why is this not your profession?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I'd known that it could be that I could actually make a living at it way back when, because I was one of the guys that would sit in the parking lot listening to AM 690 when I was in Tuscaloosa back in 1990, 1991, waiting to hear where David Palmer would commit. Back then, it was Forrest Davis. He was about the only guy that would get on
telex.
Yeah, and I mean, I would have tinfoil on the antenna and everything, trying to figure it out. I was calling the Cecil Hurt hotline, and he was in Tuscaloosa News. And every now and again, Cecil Hurt would just pick up. And during recruiting season, I would call no fewer than 10 times a day, trying to get an update. And I've always loved it. I just think it's so much fun, and now there's so much more drama.
Hence the restraining order.
Hence the restraining order, yes. I've got those from girls I dated. I got them from recruits. I've gotten them from everybody.
Well, we're up against a break here, but don't go anywhere. There's more Sportz Blitz Live on the way, presented by J&R's and S&S Discount Tire, right after this.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
At U.S. AmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, U.S. AmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com or your local branch to discover the U.S. AmeriBank difference. U.S. AmeriBank. Banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hello, I'm State Farm Agent Karen Chanel. I specialize in helping families and individuals like yourself in the Alexander City and Lake Martin communities. With over 20 years experience with State Farm and a dynamic team of licensed professionals, I am committed to helping you manage the risk of everyday life. And we not only consider it an honor, but a privilege to assist you in meeting your insurance and financial services needs. Whether you call in, click in, or walk in, I sincerely look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Jackson Refrigeration is Central East Alabama's Alabama Power superior solutions dealer. With rapid response time and on-budget pricing, we're Central East Alabama's and the area's authorized Goodman Heating and Air dealer. We make your peace of mind easy and give you peace of mind when it comes to your heating and air needs. As a superior solutions dealer, Jackson Refrigeration can help save you money and energy with a new electric heat pump. Jackson Refrigeration works on all existing brands and units and has the team to solve your heating and cooling needs, no matter the season.
And I know when I need it, I can count on you. Like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah.
You can count on the caring team at Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation. Our services include physical, speech, and occupational therapy. Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation, 256-329-9061.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a 4-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success. This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Alex City Marine, the Lake Martin area's premier new and used boat and motor dealership. Find out more at alexcitymarine.com.
Welcome back, everyone. It's that time again for the Sportz Blitz Players of the Week, and I'll let Luke start. You've got a couple more than I do, so go ahead.
Let's start with the Alabama National Guard Lee County Player of the Week, and that's Dylan Cash from Beauregard High School. He led the Hornets to a key area win over Valley with his team-high 20 points. And then the LMG Lee Marketing Group Montgomery Area Player of the Week is Garrett Sanderson from Montgomery Academy. He racked up a season-high 31 points in the 63-34 win over Luverne.
Now let's go to the Talladega County Player of the Week, presented by Concrete. Tiara Dark from Sylacauga High School. She scored a career-high 43 points in a 66-61 win over rival Talladega. Moving on to the East Alabama Player of the Week, presented by the Alabama National Guard. And Quavius Pollard from Lynette High School. The 6'6 junior scored 15 of his game-high 27 points in a come-from-behind 61-55 victory over rival Lafayette.
I'll tell you, Lafayette is very, very tough, and they've got Jatavius Whitlow, I should say, and he's a pretty incredible player. We're hoping to have him commit on our program, so we're trying to work that out.
Where is he projected to go?
Well, he's been looked at by a lot of folks on the football side. Auburn was in there at one time, but I think they're sort of off the list now. He's an SEC-level recruit, in my opinion, but he could. You don't know. I don't know about a lot of other situations going on with him. There was talk heated up a couple of weeks ago, and then it died back down. But he's a dynamic athlete, so just incredible human highlight film. Let's go to the Central State Bank Shelby County Player of the Week, and that's Jamal Johnson from Spain Park High School, the son of Buck Johnson. And Memphis signee tallied 19 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists in the 52-48 win over Class 7A number 3 Huffman. And can you imagine if Austin Wiley were still on that team with Jamal Johnson? My goodness.
They might be pretty good.
They might be pretty good.
The Lake Martin Area Player of the Week, presented by the Alabama National Guard, Nalaya. Did we say?
We're going to go with
Nalaya Hurd from Horseshoe Bend High School scored 23 points in the 72-58 win over Holtville.
The Lyman Ward Military Academy AISA Player of the Week is Jacarius Wyatt from Watauga Academy. He was named to the AISA First Team All-State Team, along with the Montgomery Advertisers AISA All-Metro Player of the Year. He helped the Generals average almost 439 yards of offense and 47.7 points per game. Made a team-high 66 tackles this season with a team-best 3 sacks. I'm going to guess that was over a course of several games. That'd be some kind of record if he did that one game. The Russell Building Supply and Russell Do It Center AHSA Radio Network Player of the Week is Zipporah Broughton from Robert E. Lee High School. She set a school record with 43 points, my goodness, in a 63-54 win over Charles Henderson. She was 11 of 15 from the field, including 5 of 6 on three-pointers and 16 of 19 on free throws.
That's going to wrap up the Sportz Blitz Players of the Week. We'll be back with more Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
Purchasing a new home is easier than you think, and America's Home Place can show you the way. For over 41 years, we've built thousands of homes for people just like you. We guide you through the entire process from purchasing a lot, finding financial options, to putting the finishing touches on your beautiful new house. Come tour our showroom and see over 100 customizable floor plans. Visit us online at americashomeplace.com/TV for a free floor plan book. America's Home Place. We make building easy.
Boaters in the Lake Martin area know whether you need service, maintenance, repairs, a great selection of pre-owned boats, or a brand new Landau pontoon. Alex City Marine at the corner of 63 and 280 is there for you. Thanks to a record-setting sales year, Alex City Marine now has one of the finest pre-owned inventories they've ever had. Repairs, service, routine maintenance, for all your boating needs. See the pros the locals know. Alex City Marine at the corner of 63 and 280. Check them out online at alexcitymarine.com.
If you knew that underage drinking starts at younger ages than ever before, even in elementary school, you would talk to your kids about drinking right now, wouldn't you? If you knew that kids who drink are more likely to be involved in violence, school failure, or injury, you'd do what you could to prevent it, right?
Alcohol is a drug, and we need you to help us understand that before it's too late. Choose to refuse to lose your team to the dangers of underage drinking.
Meet the new Met of East Central Alabama, David Chabot. By new Met, we mean MetLife Auto and Home. With MetLife's 146-year reputation and David's 18 years of local insurance experience, you and your family get the best coverage rates and service for auto, home, life, or business. Ask about MetLife's Grand Protect policy. If your home were destroyed by a covered loss, MetLife pays the full replacement cost. No depreciation and no cap. That's the peace of mind that only MetLife can deliver. Meet the new Met, David Chabot of MetLife Auto and Home, 334-321-7250 or davidchabot.metlife.com.
There's a place in America where you can almost see Russia, which means there's a place in Russia where you can definitely hear America.
Choosing a new roof or having to repair your roof can be very stressful. Preferred Roofing knows when it comes to your roof, you need not only the best product, but more importantly, you need a reliable and trustworthy roofing company to install it. That company is Preferred Roofing. Working for both commercial and residential properties, you can trust our licensed and trained roofing contractors. Don't wait any longer. Call us today at 334-202-5483 or contact us on the web at preferredcontractorsllc.com.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Russell Do It Center, offering a complete assortment of lumber, building materials, electrical, and plumbing supplies. Russell Do It Center stores deliver first-class service, top-rate products, and competitive do-it-best pricing.
Welcome back, everyone. Andy Graham and Luke Robinson here with you for about a little less than 40 more minutes, taking your phone calls and discussing everything going on in the world of sports. We'll move over to the professional ranks a little bit, talk about the NFL playoffs that took place this weekend, and maybe preview a little bit the NFC and AFC championship games this upcoming weekend. As we expected, as we went off last went off the air last week, I said, I started to say who do you take in the Patriots or the Texans, but that's a foolish question. And it turned out that way. But Tom Brady, 18 of 38. For I think he had 2 interceptions all season. He had 2 in this game. It just didn't look like the same kind of Patriots team that we've become accustomed to, especially the one that really stormed through the regular season. But everybody knew the Texans didn't really have much of a chance. It was just a matter of how much they were going to get beaten by.
That's right. And it was not a good watch. I wish that game hadn't been the Saturday night game, quite frankly. But it turns out, because of weather, we got a Saturday night and a Sunday night game. Of course, I couldn't stay up for the Pittsburgh game. I'm not going to lie and say I could have. So when the next morning when I wake up and I'm listening to all the controversy about was it a hold? Well, it was a hold, but you shouldn't call it then, that kind of stuff. That game was dramatic for totally different reasons. And then the Atlanta-Seattle game was not bad, and I loved seeing Atlanta really stretch their wings, so to speak. But I think everything begins and ends with that Green Bay-Dallas game. That's the whole story from this past weekend. And you and I were talking off air just a minute ago about how everybody loves to say you got to have a dual threat guy and you got to be able to move. Aaron Rodgers just showed again, if you can, in the NFL, you just have to be accurate. Now, he can be accurate and go deep. Those are things that not a lot of people have. In fact, Tom Brady's probably going to go down eventually as the best quarterback in NFL history. But talent-wise, I think Aaron Rodgers may have the most talent from a quarterback perspective. Forget the leg side of it. But even there, his pocket awareness is absolutely ridiculous. They had the big sack on him. You think the game's going to definitely go into overtime then. But number one, even though he didn't have the awareness to know that he was going to be sacked, he never saw the blitzer coming. He was able to somehow hold on to that ball. And there was a great point brought up by a former pass rusher on ESPN today that yes, Dallas loved getting the sack, but they got a sack from a safety who's not used to rushing the passer. If that's Von Miller, he's going to be a strip sack because he's going to know to come down with that arm. The safety was just so happy to get back there, he wrapped him up, and that allowed Aaron Rodgers to contain the ball. But then to turn around and call a timeout immediately after taking a hit like that, I mean, his neck still snapped back. I mean, there's not a lot of people who are going to have that kind of awareness. And then to zip that ball 30-some-odd yards down the field to Jared Cook, just unbelievable. So much fun to watch the back and forth. I thought Dak Prescott showed out pretty well too, and Ezekiel Elliott obviously. But man, it just makes me sad that Aaron Rodgers. How many more years do you think he has left?
Well, he's not Tom Brady, I guess. Tom Brady's kind of an anomaly. But
and Tom Brady wants to stay into his
3
40s.
years, maybe 3-4 years.
At this level, I'm going to say 3 years max. Playing at this level. And somebody else brought up a great point today. It almost makes you wonder, since the Patriots have been so dominant on this other side, it makes you wonder why Aaron Rodgers hadn't done more because he's so good. That probably is what separates him from Tom Brady.
Oh, yeah, I think that's correct. And it seems like every time a quarterback's got great arm strength, they can maybe rely too much on that arm strength. And it seems like maybe they overthrow at times and they're not quite as accurate. He is pinpoint accurate, and he has got great arm strength, and it just seems like he's, you don't often talk about NFL players being in the zone. That's a basketball term, but right now you can just tell when he surveys the field, when he drops back, he knows exactly where he's going. And if it's not there, I mean, he is just very calm and cool, collected. He can throw on the run. He can throw just regular on drop backs. So right now, you're exactly right. He's the best in the game. And it's so funny because at the beginning of the season, they say, what's wrong with Aaron Rodgers?
That's right.
He looks like, I
had him on my fantasy team.
Have we seen the last of his great play? And now he's turned it on, and they kind of remind me of that run that Pittsburgh went on, coming in from a wild card spot, and Atlanta's going to be a tall task, but I don't know if I'd pick against Green Bay right now.
Yeah, I think they were 4-6, and he said, we might just win 8 in a row. I don't know. We might win a bunch, and they've won a bunch in a row. And he's done this without Eddie Lacy. His backup, Starks.
No Jordy Nelson.
No, Jordy Nelson got hurt in his last game, and I don't think he's going to be available this week.
They say it's a slim chance, so that probably
broken ribs, man. I'll tell you something else I heard this yesterday. I've never heard this before. Greg McElroy played the 2009 National Championship game with 2 broken ribs.
Really?
Yeah. He said it was just incredibly painful.
Wow, okay.
I'd never heard that before. But they said they kept it secret. I think his wrist was broken too, maybe, or something.
Did it happen in the SEC title game?
It happened in the SEC championship game, yeah. And that's why they only threw, I think, 11 passes against Texas. And he said if we had to go deep late, it would have been bad. It would have been a bad thing. So, but anyway, going back to Aaron Rodgers, I mean, doing it without these weapons. Now, he does have Randall Cobb, who's very good. That rookie Allison, I think out of Illinois, he had some good moments, but you can tell he's a rookie. He's not built up very much yet. And then he's got Ty Montgomery back there. You know, it seems Jared Cook, obviously very good, but my goodness, I mean, it's going to be so much fun. I wonder, the ratings for this Cowboy game were astronomical, 28.2, which is essentially double the national championship game between Alabama and Clemson. Alabama and Clemson got a good rating. It was down about 5% from the previous year, but still 14.2 for college football national championships, very good. Green Bay Dallas did 28.2. That is ridiculous. And so that just tells you about how we can't get it because we're in Alabama or SEC centric. It's Alabama, Auburn, or nothing else. But NFL is king, man. NFL is king.
Let's go to the phone line.
Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm trying to find out Auburn offensive coordinator. Who he going to be?
Did you call earlier?
My brother did.
Okay. They hadn't been an announcement yet. We'll let you know. I promise you. We will keep you updated.
Okay, then. I should appreciate you.
Thank you.
What were you saying earlier? Well, going back to the NFL playoffs a little bit, it wasn't a hold. The Kansas City Chiefs, yes, it was a hold. Well, here's the way I look at it. I've watched it several times. I don't think he actually held the guy, but you cannot hook him around the throat.
Correct.
They're going to call that every single time. I mean, it looks like a hold, even though it might not technically have been a hold because he was falling down at the time. But it's a shame that it was because that game probably deserved an overtime type finish.
But what are you supposed to do? Okay, if you don't call it, then Pittsburgh loses their mind, right? I mean, I think that you have to call that, especially when it's so obvious. And they're blaming the officials. Here's the deal, Kansas City. You were at home. You were the favorite. You had a week off. Pittsburgh didn't. You got to win that game. I mean, you just got to win that game. And that's, I think Kansas City hadn't won a home playoff game since, like 2004 or something?
Been a while.
So, I mean, it's nobody's fault but yours. The defense held Pittsburgh to 6 field goals, and you still can't win? I mean, that's on you. And I just, the whole officials thing drives me nuts. And another case of that, well, we could talk about this. This goes back to the Alabama. Everybody loves to say Alabama gets the breaks. Did you see the tweet? I think a friend of mine tweeted out of some 1,000-some-odd plays, Alabama opponents have been called for holding against guys that are traditionally in the NFL, time after time, 9 times. 9 times other offenses have been called for holding against Alabama. But it's not something that you can complain about. You got to play through it, whatever it is. It wasn't like that was the last play of the game either. Even if it was, I would have the same argument. But Kansas City got the ball back.
They did.
And then they couldn't make sense. All you got to do is go get a field goal.
All you got to do is, you hold Pittsburgh to 3 and out, and you get the ball back, and you have a chance to win the game.
And they gave up.
They make a good pass. I mean,
they gave up a pass to Antonio Brown. I would have quadruple teamed him and said, you throw it to anybody else because you know where it's going. It's going to 84, right?
Yeah.
But I think that is the better game. That we got, in my opinion, the best 2 games for the championships because I just had a feeling Dallas, with 2 rookies being their leaders, eventually they were going to hit a wall. Now, they didn't necessarily hit the wall. They would have hit it against Atlanta. I believe that. And then on the other side, I want to see Ben Roethlisberger against Tom Brady before I want to see Alex Smith against Tom Brady all day.
I think that's better. And, Pittsburgh, they know how to win. That franchise, there is something to franchises being winners.
We're probably 9 breaks behind. But the Facebook Live thing Antonio Brown did?
One of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
I can't understand why more people aren't mad about it. The locker room...
Mike Tomlin's pretty upset.
Yeah, and he should be, I think. The locker room, to me, should be your sanctuary. That should be where things don't go out. and other folks don't come in. I think after a game, I hate that we interview coaches when they're going into halftime and coming out of halftime. I hate that we interview coaches right after a game's over. You don't let anybody even get a hug in.
Right.
And you've already started interviewing, or you don't let anybody get a needed shoulder to cry on. We don't have to know everything all the time. And Antonio Brown doing that, it cheapens the game to me, because in my mind, in the locker room, what folks are doing after a big win like that on the road, you don't get a touchdown, you get 6 field goals. It's a improbable win. In my mind, they're all celebrating and sort of popping champagne and saying, "We did it, guys, and let's keep it going." And instead, what we're doing now is we're Facebook Living and showing everybody. And there was one kind of chunky guy in the background. I wouldn't want to be on Facebook Live if I just
while
stepped
the
out of the
coach
shower.
is making the speech.
While the coach is making the speech.
It's just, about not being low key.
Exactly.
It's so ironic.
He actually said stay off social media, and Antonio Brown is just doing it like this, just smiling. It's sad, because I feel like we're heading more and more down that road. And it's sad for me. I mean, I'm 44. I'm obviously not going to get with that program. I can do social media, and I help with social media with Sportz Blitz, but I'm never going to think, if to be in that situation and then just go straight to Facebook Live. There's never a private moment anymore.
Well, to be that unself-aware is just stunning. Really, I can't. But anyway, we are up against a break, but we'll continue this. We may look at the NFC and AFC championship games when we come back. More to come right after this.
How expensive can kids really be? All they need is love, and love is free, right? They're tiny. How much stuff can they really use? Still gonna get a new car every year and take the best vacations. Maui, here we come.
Life can surprise you. So can an Allstate agent. Only they can get you 2 safe driving bonus checks a year, because every little bit helps. The good hands are doing more than ever before.
Call your Alexander City Allstate agent, Alice Palmer, to learn more today at 256-215-3833.
Do you know that C&T Electric offers a home protection plan for your electrical system? Are you wondering what this is or why you need one? Just like your heating, cooling, and plumbing systems, your electrical system needs to be maintained also. With C&T Electric's home protection plan, you receive annual electrical safety inspections, priority service when you call, discounts on all electrical services, and the dispatch fee is waived on all calls. Call C&T Electric at 256-234-0007 today.
Got your eye on a new Nissan? It's time to zero in on huge savings at Lynch Nissan of Auburn. 0% financing is back in a big way on many of your favorite Nissan models, but only for a limited time. Buy today and save up to $11,000 off MSRP on remaining 2016s as we make room for the 2017s. Get up to $5,000 off MSRP on the new Rogue SL or 0% for 72 months. Just click it and pick it now at lynchnissan.com. Lynch Nissan of Auburn, I-85 at exit 51.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
When insurance agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Did your team just win the big game? Are you looking for a unique way to honor a valuable employee? Lila's Engraving has you covered, offering a large selection of custom trophies and plaques. Lila's also offers cast aluminum car tags, custom engraved wine glasses, clocks, and wood cutting boards. They even offer custom framing for any art or picture as well. Lila's combines the best quality items with the fastest service around. With over 27 years of experience in the Alexander City and Lake Martin areas, Lila's Engraving is your only choice for custom awards and engraved gifts. Always remember, winners choose Lila's.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp. If you've been injured in an auto accident, don't choose an attorney simply because they have flashy television commercials and tons of billboards. Call a local attorney who can give your case the personal attention it needs and deserves. For over 20 years, I've handled hundreds of auto accidents, and I take pride in the personal service we provide and the results we obtain for our clients. So if you've been injured, give me a call today and put our team to work for you.
The opening segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Home Place Mortgage of Auburn and Lake Martin, the region's best mortgage professionals and rates for all new or refinancing mortgage services. Come to the right place. Home Place Mortgage of Auburn and Lake Martin. Visit homeplacemtg.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Andy and Luke here with you for about 20 more minutes. Talking about the NFL playoffs, the NFC and AFC championship games to take place this Sunday. It'll begin with Green Bay at Atlanta at 2:05 on Fox. Atlanta, as far as we can remember, the first time they've ever hosted an NFC championship game. The one that I remember them winning was in Minneapolis as what was his Gary Anderson Mr. Automatic. I don't think he missed a field goal all year, but he missed one.
That's right.
As play and sent the Falcons to the Super Bowl to play Denver, which they of course lost. But this Falcons team, if you watch them all year, I mean, just who I didn't really think. I said this last Tuesday. I had no trust in Atlanta, especially to play a team as savvy as the Seahawks. But they really handled them. I mean, put up 36 points, 422 total yards. This offense is a pretty is a thing of beauty when it's really working. Mike, Kyle Shanahan's really done a fantastic job.
He has, and he's being looked at as potential San Francisco 49ers head coach. But I'm looking at these game times. It's going to be Atlanta, Green Bay at 2:05, and then the Pittsburgh, New England game at 5:40. I give it a 0% chance of not overlapping because Green Bay, Atlanta is going to throw the ball all over the place, right?
Has a great opportunity to be a shootout.
Now, the NFL is better about making sure these games go about as long as they're supposed to. So I probably shouldn't make that bet, but I think that Atlanta, Green Bay is just going to – Green Bay's just giving up on the run for the most part. Every now and again they had it just Redkowski. Every now and again they give it to him, or they might hand it off to Ty Montgomery occasionally. But for the most part, it's a lot of play action or just Aaron Rodgers drop back and throw it to whoever's open.
That's true. I mean, it's exactly right. I mean, why wouldn't you if you got Aaron Rodgers back there and he's in the zone that he is right now? That's how they're winning. They're putting up points and they're passing that. And they really, the NFL's a passing league. That's what right. It is. But Matt Ryan playing about as well as he's played in the last several years. Had a great game against the Seahawks. They do, however, run the ball. Julio Jones a little bit banged up, but I think he's going to be fine for this game as well. But that's really what it's going to come down to, who can make a stop. And really this kind of game ends up who's got the ball last probably.
Well, and you say it's a passing league. To take it a step further, it's really a quarterback league. You think about, and I know quarterbacks pass it, but it's also about just the quarterback and the it factor. And you think about these four quarterbacks. You've got 3 Hall of Famers with Roethlisberger, Brady, and Aaron Rodgers. And then you got a guy who's probably going to win the MVP in Matty Ice. So you got those 4 in there. And if Atlanta does go on and, say, win the Super Bowl, then you're going to be starting talking about their quarterback is having some potential Hall of Fame material about him. Because once you win that first Super Bowl, you get in the conversation unless you are, oh, my gosh, he was a quarterback for Baltimore, Dilfer, something like that. But, yeah, this league is so quarterback dominated now. And if you've got a good quarterback, it just about doesn't matter what else you have. You think about the running back. There's Le'Veon Bell, right, for Pittsburgh, who's very, very good. But then who's next? I mean, who's the next best? Is it Blunt for New England? Is it – it's certainly not Ty Montgomery.
Freeman is okay.
Freeman's okay, but they brought in the kid from Indiana to take his spot. Now, he hadn't necessarily – Coleman. He hadn't necessarily been able to do it, but they sort of split carries for the most part. And, Freeman's – again, okay. He's certainly not an all-timer. Le'Veon Bell is one of the better players. If you're drafting a fantasy league team, he's going to be in that top 10, probably that top 6. But other than that, you're not going to take any of those guys in the first 3 rounds probably.
No, probably not.
So, I mean, it's such a quarterback league that it's almost better to have a good backup than it is to even have one of the better running backs.
Who do you like, Green Bay and Atlanta?
Oh, man, I hate picking against Aaron Rodgers right now. I'm going to go with my heart. My heart is for Atlanta. I want to see Atlanta in this thing. I'm not necessarily a Falcons fan, but I've got sort of this, Atlanta's closer to us. Same reason a lot of y'all love the Braves. I mean, I just dislike baseball so much that I can't ever pull. I'm anti-Braves, but because Atlanta's right up the road and because I know their struggles. I mean, the Braves have had some winning moments.
Sure.
Atlanta the Falcons just have never done it, and they've been the lovable losers for a long time, going back to William Andrews and Bartkowski and Billy White Shoes Johnson. I remember he was always on the Alcoa aluminum recycling company, their Alcoa great moments in NFL history kind of thing.
Jim Van Note.
Jim Van Note. Oh, was he the one that wore the gigantic club on his hand? Do you remember that?
I think so.
He broke his arm, and so he had a cast, and it was humongous.
And a big white beard.
Yeah, he was. They always were just a little bit shy of being good. So I'm happy to see them, and I want to see them in there. And I guess I'm going to pull for New England. Again,
just to see that awkward moment if they win it, to have Roger Goodell hand Tom Brady the trophy.
Yeah,
that would almost. I mean, that's got to be one of the most uncomfortable, or will be one of the most uncomfortable scenes in television history.
Oh, there are going to be so many memes about the trophy deflating.
Yeah.
But I also think this would be best for Atlanta if they beat New England. I think they'll get more credit than if they were to beat Pittsburgh. You know what I mean?
Probably so.
It would go down as a more historic moment. It'd be historic for Atlanta regardless, first Super Bowl. But I think beating New England to do it would mean more.
Up against a break here. When we come back, I may get Luke to talk about something near and dear to his heart, the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame selection, which will take place tomorrow. Don't go anywhere. More Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
Purchasing a new home is easier than you think, and America's Home Place can show you the way. For over 41 years, we've built thousands of homes for people just like you. We guide you through the entire process, from purchasing a lot, finding financial options, to putting the finishing touches on your beautiful new house. Come tour our showroom and see over 100 customizable floor plans. Visit us online at americashomeplace.com/TV for a free floor plan book. America's Home Place. We make building easy.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace, smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do It Center. Experience.
Excitement awaits you on beautiful Lake Martin. Alex City Guide Service can provide you with a charter trip of a lifetime. Licensed charter guide David Hare has over 20 years of experience on Lake Martin, specializing in live bait fishing for trophy-sized saltwater striped bass, largemouth bass, and spotted bass. Call Alex City Guide Service today at 256-401-3089 or visit them online at www.alexcityguideservice.com.
Your comfort is our number one concern. Advanced Heat and Air.
Advanced Heating and Air makes your comfort their priority for any season. Advanced Heating and Air is the region's train dealer and an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer that can save you money and energy with a new electric heat pump. Advanced Heating and Air maintains the region's best service team, so rely on us to make your comfort our number one concern. Call 234-5052, and we're there for you.
Tax time is here, not the time to buy. Stop at Gill's Auto Sales, we can show you why.
2017 is here. It's tax time, and Gill's Auto Sales is celebrating with a half-back sale. Buy the vehicle of your choice from any Gill's location, and you can receive half your down payment back in cash. That's right, half your down payment back in cash. 6 locations, over 400 vehicles to choose from. It's Gill's Auto Sales half-back sale going on now.
Gotta get to Gill's.
Yamaha is beating the field in just about every category of motorsport products, offering unbelievable performance, handling, features, technology, and at prices that are blowing everyone's mind, especially the competition. Visit Twin City Yamaha on Stage Road in Auburn.
Hi, this is Scott Tway with Twin Cities Yamaha in Auburn. Isn't it about time to put some fun back in your life? Call us and see what we mean. 334-821-0439 or on the web at www.twincitiesyamaha.com.
This segment sponsored by Archery Connection, located at 3022 Lakewood Drive in Phoenix City, where hunters and archers connect. Welcome back, everyone, to the final segment of Sportz Blitz Live. Andy and Luke taking you home to 9 o'clock here. It's been a good show. We appreciate all of you out there joining us this evening. The Major League Baseball Hall of Fame induction, or at least the voting, will be tallied tomorrow. Some names of guys that just missed out last year. You need 75% of the vote to get in for the Writers Association. There's an interesting tidbit to this we'll talk about in just a second. But Jeff Bagwell last year, 71.6%, just missed out. I think he missed by like 15 votes. Would probably assume he will get in this time. Tim Raines, 69.8%. Trevor Hoffman, 67.3%. Those 3 guys, I would imagine, will probably get in. I don't know. Trevor Hoffman might be right on the precipice there. Kurt Schilling was a guy that I would think was probably a no doubt Hall of Famer, but 52.3% in 2016. And then you have the steroid connection. Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds both had 45.2% and 44.3%. So they are increasing as time goes on, but it'll be interesting to see how much those numbers rise. The tidbit is, for, I guess, ever since it's been in existence, it has been an anonymous selection. The voting has been. So that is going to change after 2017. There will no longer be an anonymous vote. It was voted on, oddly enough, voted on to remove that.
Anonymously? Was it voted on anonymously?
I don't think so. 80-9, the Writers Association voted to make the voting public. So I think something that we've talked about before, and I know it kind of irks you, nobody has ever been unanimously selected to the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. That might change now because you actually have to defend why you left Ken Griffey Jr. off your ballot.
These are the stupid traditions that baseball has that have made them the, at best, 3rd most popular sport when they used to be America's pastime. And now baseball is past its time because it's stupid traditions like this. Like, nobody can be a first ballot. He's more of a 3rd ballot Hall of Famer. What does that even mean? He's either in the Hall of Fame or he's not in the Hall of Fame. I mean, those things are so dumb to me. And baseball, then having this announcement, I was just telling you this off air, that baseball has decided, okay, we're going to do this big vote. We're going to do it right before the NFC and AFC championship games. I just got through telling everybody how much the NFL owns everything. It is that they literally own a day of the week. They did a 28 rating, which is double the national championship college football, which blows anything baseball away. The smallest bowl game out there blows away an awesome NBA game, and it definitely blows away a good baseball game. So why would you want to have an announcement about who's going into the Hall of Fame just a few days before football has its NFC and AFC championship games? Wait till a week after, when there's an off week during the Super Bowl, when everybody's talking about goofy stuff in pro football. You do it then, or do it after the Super Bowl. You got a whole lot of other times you can do this. After the Super Bowl and before March Madness, there's a pretty big void in there for sports about what are we really watching here. It's like we all get our collective breaths. That's what's great about college football is every week matters. And then you get the NFL playoff, all those weeks matter. And then the Super Bowl. And then, come March Madness, it matters. But there's a gap in there that baseball could get a hold of. They're so stubborn with these stupid traditions.
Well, some might say that traditions are upheld for a reason. They're good, to have these traditions. It's what separates baseball from maybe some of the other sports. And I understand, but part of the problem is that, the millennial short attention span that is society today is just not built for baseball.
That's true, too.
But I will say this, as far as the voting is concerned, for whatever reason, when it started way back when, I don't know why, but those writers way back in the, the 1800s, early 1900s, whatever, decided, hey, for whatever reason, we're not going to put, that's going to be something that's just something we're not going to do. If Babe Ruth, we're not going to vote for him unanimously, or Ty Cobb, or Joe DiMaggio, or Mickey Mantle, anybody like that. And then as history has gone on, I don't think it's stubbornness as much as it is the writers nowadays thinking, well, if you don't put Hank Aaron in, then I cannot put this person in. So they're just kind of going along with it to say that, we're going to continue to do it this way because that's the way they did it. I get that, but I'm saying because you make a mistake, don't keep making mistakes to say, well, that mistake was so bad, we have to keep making it. I mean, and again, it just makes no sense to me. And if Ken Griffey Jr. isn't the first ballot, then really, I guess in a sense, I can see the logic saying, well, nobody ever will be. But I'm going to go back to saying, who's stupid enough to leave him off? And then, if you get so upset about the steroid era, well, Babe Ruth, he played before it was integrated, right? I mean, you got to count off for that. I mean, so why vote him in? He didn't play. I mean, what was worse, playing before integration or playing with integration but with steroids? I mean, well, one of them's cheating. The other one is just a.
Well, Babe Ruth showed up drunk to some games, right? Pretty famously.
That's hurting your performance.
But apparently, it helped his.
Well, Mickey Mantle was pretty notorious for drinking as well. So quickly, in 10 seconds here, Oregon, 3 players hospitalized. Is Willie Taggart already in trouble?
I don't think he's in trouble, but I think it tells me that Mark Helfrich wasn't making him do a whole lot. I can tell you that.
I think that's probably accurate. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for Sportz Blitz Live. For Luke Robinson, I'm Andy Graham. So long for now. We'll talk again soon.
Textile left, our economy was threatened. Then the Hyundai and parts supplier plants opened. Now our economy is thriving. Our friends and neighbors build some of the finest cars in the world, yearly national and international awards. Compare Hyundai of Auburn, America's best warranty in creating local jobs and growth. Compelling reasons to compare. This week at Hyundai of Auburn, 0% interest, 149 leases, and $4,000 cash back, plus other discounts. You owe it to yourself and your community. Hyundai of Auburn.
Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. At Walls, you'll find a dedicated staff offering top quality service from routine maintenance to a full engine overhaul and everything in between. Brian Walls and the folks at Walls Tire are local folks that you know, and they provide the best service always at a fair price. Find out what the rest of the Lake Martin area already knows. Walls Tire is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. Just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
There is a strength inside you, unknown and imperfect, waiting. And when you think you have nothing left to give, when each obstacle in your path is more formidable than the last, that's when you'll find it. And with that strength, your greatness will have no limits.
We are Steel, German-engineered chainsaws and landscape products.
The majority of which
are made here in America by Americans.
And exported to over 90 countries around the world.
Find out why steel is #1 in America at steelusa.com.
Find your Steel outdoor products and more at the new Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Zaxby's Chicken Finger Plate Meal. Serve with 4, 5, or 6 chicken fingers, crinkle fries, Texas toast, coleslaw, Zax sauce, and a 22-ounce drink. Zaxby's, indescribably good.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting-edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.